I'm Kathy Hausman. I'm the Associate Director of Technology Support Services at St. Mary's College in Notre Dame, Indiana. I'm going to talk today about everybody's favorite topic with tech support, tracking systems. When I started at St. Mary's College, I walked into a situation where they were using Post-it notes and voicemail as their tracking system. So within my first month on campus, I ended up writing my own tracking system based on HTML and FileMaker Pro. We outgrew that system after a number of years, and so I came up with a list of things that I wanted to have that I couldn't write myself, and found SolarWinds Web Help Desk. We then customized it to make it work best for the areas of student support and faculty staff support. We actually run two separate tracking systems because the needs of the two areas are so different. When students put in requests for assistance, they focus on their personal computers and the needs that they want to get their academic work done, as well as their personal activities. They want their computers connected, but they also want their televisions and their gaming systems and their personal assistants connected to the network, and usually immediately. So we have a mechanism for them to request that. We also make sure that we take care of issues that they might have, like forgetting their passwords, or assistance with installing software, or helping to customize software that they use for a specific course, or accessing Blackboard. Our faculty and staff have very different needs. For them, we assist them with their college-owned devices. So they might be trying to access our student information system. They might be having issues in a classroom while a class is in session. Or they might be having issues with accessing their college email on their personal device. We assist them with all of that, but by having two separate tracking systems, we can make sure that we provide the best support for these two very different groups of people. When students can fill out their requests, we use the detailed instructions that are available. In this feature, we pop up a little green box that lets them know, oh, you're having a problem with email. Here is a website with the frequently asked questions on email. You're having a question about getting your television on the network. Here are the instructions for sending us the MAC address so that we can help you with that. For faculty and staff, we have them contact the help desk directly. We do this because with classroom support, it guarantees that they get immediate assistance instead of waiting for it to go through the tracking system. We see this as a priority. Next up is status types. So with status types, you can use the defaults, but we've gone ahead and customized them to best meet the needs of our students, faculty, and staff. While you could have open and closed tickets, we've created pending so that we know when a ticket has been touched and is actively being worked on. Or we have on hold, which allows us to accommodate when students are off campus for semester breaks or fall or spring breaks, or other times when they're not available. For faculty and staff, we have other status types to better meet their needs. Among the differences, we have a waiting for response, which provides an automated mechanism to remind those faculty and staff that we're waiting for additional information from them. The system will automatically notify them, so we don't have to keep notifying them and asking for information. We also use a status resolved so that when the IT department thinks that an issue has been taken care of, the client is notified, and then they actually close the ticket themselves so that we know and everybody is in agreement that the issue has been fully resolved. Priorities and alerts. This is a very colorful way to look at your tracking system. There are the defaults of high, urgent, medium, and low. For the students, we consider all the students to be medium priority by default. And then we have special categories to meet the special needs that the students have. One of them is 3 strikes. With our students, we consider ourselves very high touch. We don't use the automated notifications in Web Help Desk for our students. Everything that is sent to a student has an actual person behind it. With 3 strikes, if we've contacted a student 3 times without receiving a response, we will mark a ticket as 3 strikes, send one more reminder saying, hey, trying to see if you still need help. Please let us know within 24 hours or else we'll resolve your ticket. If we don't hear from the student, we go ahead and we close the ticket. We use Epidemic, which is how we describe our campus-wide issues. If a server goes down, if the network goes down, if something that impacts the majority of campus occurs, we mark it as epidemic. We know that all of those tickets will be resolved as soon as the issue is resolved, but we know that we need to follow up with those particular users as well. We also have hardware repair. Hardware repair for students is important because they're bringing their own personal devices to campus. We don't actually repair hardware at St. Mary's College. What we do is we set this so that we'll notify a student after a week. We don't expect them to get a hardware repair done in a day, but this gives us some time and gives the student time to get the issue resolved before we follow up. Because sometimes if a hard drive is replaced, they might need more help with reinstalling software or customizing the machine they wanted it to be. Clusters. If you're in higher ed, you might be familiar with the term computer clusters or computer labs. These are places where students can get their assignments done. It's where a lot of course-related software can be found. And it's also where students can do all of the printing that they do. So if there's an issue in one of those areas, we have it specially marked so we know that we can give it immediate attention. Manual registrations. As I mentioned earlier, the students do have their own devices that they want to have on that campus network. Their televisions, their gaming machines. They will send us the MAC addresses and we register it. We do see this as a priority and we try to get those accommodated as soon as possible. And then wireless access points. If there's a problem with the wireless access point in their room being broken or potentially getting knocked off the wall, we can take care of that too, and we do consider that a priority. We do have online graduate students who take classes specifically online, and so we do give them priority as well, because the only way that they can work on their assignments is if they have a working computer and a working network connection at their home. Faculty and staff, again, they have different issues. We still have epidemics for campus-wide issues, and we still think that all of our faculty and staff are medium priority when they submit tickets. We also have the president's office, the vice president's office, and the registrar's office who get expedited service. Why? Because they're the president's office, the vice president's office, or the registrar's office. We also have classroom support as a priority. Classroom support is important because that is the primary focus of an educational institution. If there's an issue that's impeding the teaching or the learning process, we want to make sure that that gets escalated and receives an immediate response, and we dispatch somebody to the classroom right away. We do have waiting for response. We want the faculty and staff to respond when we need more information, and this helps us figure out what has already been responded to. We also have Bug Tracker. That's something that we use just because of our student information system. Those issues actually get entered into a different system to be reported, but we keep a track at the help desk of knowing that somebody has contacted us about a particular issue so that we can make sure that it is followed up with and is resolved. On hold, again, people go on vacation, or sometimes we're waiting for issues with purchasing or the budget process, so we want to make sure that all of the dominoes fall in the right order before we take on a ticket. Search and query. I use this all the time. You have a CIO walk into your office and say, so how many X? And they usually need an immediate answer. So I've created a number of queries that are based on academic year or summer periods. And that way, if we need to know right away how many manual registration requests we received last academic year, it takes me 5 seconds to give the CIO that information because the query's already there, and then I just have to figure out the request type. One thing that we do frequently is how many students need assistance with their passwords. Our incoming students ask for password resets constantly over the summer. We usually have about a quarter of our incoming class forget their passwords. So by doing a search and query based on those criteria, we can give information to the CIO and to the admissions office right away so they know which students need additional assistance. One piece of advice I can give to anybody looking at implementing or updating a tracking system is to make sure that the people who will be using that software on a regular basis are involved in the process. When we implemented Web Help Desk, I created a series of assignments for my staff to work on. So everybody had to create tickets. Everybody had to add notes to tickets. Everybody had to tweak the statuses and the priorities and reassigning tickets so that they could see what would happen, and they were all familiar with how the software could be used. Then they could give immediate feedback. We could tweak the system, they could retest it, so that when we rolled out the software to the campus, all of the staff was familiar on how to use it, and they had a say in how to make it the best system, not only for our customers, but for themselves. It was a wonderful experience rolling this out because everybody had buy-in. And if everybody has buy-in into a project, you don't hear many complaints when they actually have to use it on a daily basis. I hope this information was useful. Have a great day.